Hello everyone, welcome back to the My Take podcast, the podcast where if you don't like my takes then don't watch, and today we are going to be doing a comparison between one of the most overhyped receivers in the league, DK Metcalf, yes I said it, and between one of the most underrated receivers in the league, Terry McLaurin. In my honest opinion, I think Terry is better than DK, and before you clown on me, I'll prove why he is, in my opinion. If after this vid you still don't agree with me, then at least you should hopefully have some newfound respect for the man that is scary and whose name is Terry. And without further ado, let's get started. But actually, before we start, I just want to say I started this before Thursday Night Football. And for the people watching the YouTube version, do you like this kind of style with like the little gameplay? I think it's alright, but if you don't like it, then that's fine. Anyways, moving on. Number one, this isn't really a real reason, but I just wanted to get out of the way that a lot of people who think that Metcalf are better than Terry, I'm not saying everyone is, but a lot of people don't actually watch Terry McLaurin tape. They just go with what the media is saying, which is perfectly fine if you don't have the time to study that's like a good receiver, but not like anyone in the top 10 or in the news. I get it. I just got that out of the way. I just wanted to express that. He should be on the media more, though. And number two, let's break down these stats quickly. So, another reason why a lot of people think DK is better because they look at like receptions, yards, touchdowns, and yards per catch. DK Metcalf definitely has more impressive stats. He has 45 catches for 816 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 18.1 yards per carry before Thursday Night Football. Terry McLaurin has more receptions, 57 receptions, but 787 yards, 3 touchdowns, which isn't great, and 13.8 yards per catch. So, if we look at these stats, DK looks a lot better, but let's just dive a little further into these stats. So, DK Metcalf has been in the slot before Thursday Night Football. I can't alliterate that enough. 15.5% of the time. This is all according to Player Profiler, compared to McLaurin's 17.9%. So in my opinion, this means he's a little more versatile as a receiver. He can play in the slot. He has played well in the slot, Terry McLaurin. DK Metcalf has had 22.5% target share. McLaurin's had 26.5% target share percentage. So you might think, well, that's because there's no other really good options on the football team, which is a good reason for that. But it also means that Terry's just been open more. DK Metcalf has the most deep targets with 20 compared to McLaurin's 12. So, I'll dive deeper in depth on why I put that in there. They both teams have about 40 team passing plays per game. Alex Smith's 55 passes last week boosted that. DK Metcalf's target to catch ratio is 62.5%, while Terry McLaurin's is 66.6%. DK Metcalf has had 75% catchable targets compared to McLaurin's 72%. DK Metcalf has 224 yak, which is 16th in the league among receivers, compared to Terry McLaurin's 381, which is first in the league. DK Metcalf has an 83% catch rate, a true catch rate, which is 69th in the league, compared to Terry McLaurin's 92, which is 20th. DK Metcalf, before Thursday Night Football, had 3 drops. After Thursday Night Football, had 5, compared to Terry McLaurin's 1 this year. DK Metcalf has had 42.9% contested catch rate, compared to McLaurin's 44.4%. DK ranks 48th, and McLaurin ranks 43rd. But in his rookie year, McLaurin had the highest contested catch rate among anyone. And DK Metcalf had a quarterback rating when targeted of 121.1, which is 18th, compared to McLaurin's much worse 97.4, which is 56th. And they both have the same dominator rating. If you want to know what dominator rating is, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like they combine yards and touchdowns and they make it like a percentage of how much they're like contributing to their team. You can look it up on Player Profiler. So looking at these stats, it kind of paints a different picture. Terry McLaurin has been targeted more. He's had a better catch rate. He's done a lot better at running after the catch. He's better. He has a better catch rate with a worse quarterback. I mean, look at these advanced stats. I mean, it's very close. So, with that being said, moving on to number 3, keeping these stats in mind, let's just compare their situations quickly. DK Metcalf has an MVP candidate throwing to him, Russell Wilson, compared to McLaurin, who just in this year has had 3 quarterbacks throwing to him: Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen, and Alex Smith. Metcalf, at least in that sense, is a way better situation. McLaurin is on Washington, while Metcalf is on the Seahawks. Again, Metcalf, way better situation. On the football team, there's no other elite options to hand the ball off to or pass to, compared to Metcalf, where he has Lockett and Carson. You might think that this kind of goes to Metcalf because it means less targets, and sure, you could argue that, but it also just means for McLaurin there's more pressure to succeed. So having Lockett and Carson there takes off some pressure for DK. They both have defensive-minded coaches, except one of them is a first-year head coach, which is Ron Rivera, and then the other one is a 10-year head coach, which is Pete Carroll. McLaurin has a terrible offensive coordinator. He is terrible. Scott Turner's trash, compared to Brian Schottenheimer on the Seahawks, who you'll see on the screen here is a pretty good offensive coordinator. They both don't have amazing O-lines, which means more pressure on the quarterback, which means worse throws. So, keeping in mind the stats and the situations, McLaurin is competing with Metcalf, at least if you look at the advanced stats, and he has a way worse situation. I think, what the point of this is, imagine if McLaurin was in Metcalf's situation. I think he would do a lot better than Metcalf if he was in the same situation. And number 4, looking at the stats and tape, I can tell you that these two, while having similar stats, are very different players. One being a deep threat and great on screens, which is DK Metcalf, while the other is almost acting as a speedy security blanket, Terry McLaurin. If you watch his tape, you'll see that McLaurin's only weaknesses are his height, which is barely even a weakness at 6 foot, and his lack of media attention. As a rookie, as I said before, he led all receivers in contested catch rate at a whopping 68.4%. Keep in mind that's as a rookie. So he can go up and grab the ball. He can moss some guys. He ran a 4.38 at the combine. People forget how fast he is. Has debatably the best route tree and just route running in general in the league. Not saying he does, I'm saying it's debatable. Sorry if you hear background noise. He has hands made of glue, and has proven before he can run after the catch. DK Metcalf, however, isn't nearly as polished of a route runner. I'm going to show you a clip here. It was actually his touchdown on Thursday Night Football. Not great route running there. And his hands aren't on the same level as proven on Thursday Night Football. Those 2 drops were terrible. I had my eyes glued to DK Metcalf the whole game, and I only saw him run deep routes, and the one time he got targeted on a slant, he drops it. But with that being said, he's always open on the deep routes, I'll give him that. He's really good at beating his man with pure speed, and he's very physical. If he develops the ability to stop on a dime like Terry McLaurin, he could be a top receiver in this league as long as he still has Russell Wilson. So, I hope that this gives you a new light on Terry McLaurin. He's very underrated. If you still think DK Metcalf is better, then fair enough. I just personally prefer players like Terry McLaurin, who are just more consistent. They don't necessarily get tons of explosive plays, but they're just consistently there, they're consistently open, over guys who are either going to have 4 catches for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns, or 1 catch for 40 yards. But that's all I have to say today. If you enjoyed I shone a new light on Terry McLaurin for you, that was the point of this. I hope I did. If you want to hear more stuff like this, tell me in the comments. Please subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you hopefully earlier than next week.